Well, good day and welcome to all of our internet friends, family, and following. We're here with another value-added training here as we take our mental vacation break. If you're new to us, we always like to start our trainings off with something that's nice and picturesque, designed to get you to dream again. Let's go swimming with the dolphins. Let's be little kids today and go swim with the dolphins. That's pretty cool. All right, very excited about today's training. Because over the last couple of weeks, we've started to see the markets really take a rebound. By the way, this is sponsored by NetQube's Financial Research Pod. As we're doing this recording, NetQube is still in a private placement, has not yet gone fully public to the public yet. But once it does, it's going to have a variety of niches that the company refers to as research pods. And within the Financial Research Pod, there's going to be an incredible service called Digi Millionaires. And so we're doing a training based on the teachings of Digi Millionaires, which is going to be one of the services in the Financial Research Pod of NetQube. Okay, so real quickly, let's go to the marketplace. And if you're newer to our trainings, don't let all of the lines here and the charts confuse you. Digi Millionaires is the premier trading platform, financial trading. I'm sorry. There we go. Excuse me, I messed that up. Digi Millionaires is the premier trading platform in the cryptocurrency space. We refer to the cryptocurrency space as Digi. All right, and every now and then we will do some market commentary about what we are seeing happening in the markets. And so the last time we did a commentary, we were talking about this area of congestion right in here. And we were saying that the market had been fairly quiet by BTC, Bitcoin standards, and for several days had traded between this box here, all right, 7,800 or so on the low end and about 8,300 on the high end. And we discussed in the last training that we did in terms of a market overview that something was going to happen. We didn't know what the something was. You know, it was either going to break up or it was going to break down. And that when you take a can of Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and let's say you've got the top on it, and you shake it up, then once that top comes off, there's going to be some type of explosion. We saw that down here. We saw here for about 2 weeks, the market stayed in a constricted range, and then the top came off, and you had this huge explosion right here. So, for instance, the day before this explosion, the low for the market was 6,700. The high was 7,000. Give me a moment. Yeah, so there wasn't much market movement here. But on this day, all right, again, there was an explosion. It could have exploded to the downside just as well as it could have exploded to the upside. It exploded to the upside, and the low was 6,750 here, and the high was 8,000. And much of this explosion happened within 1 hour. Okay? So when you shake that can up and the market's been in a confined trading range or constricted trading range, at some point when the market breaks, it will tend to break pretty big either way. Okay? Now we discussed the fact that while the market was trading here, that if she were to, that she was finding some resistance at this particular line here. That was about 82.68. Let's call it 8,300. And that if she could break beyond that, then we could see her going back to some of her, getting some traction. We've seen Bitcoin come down from 20,000 in late December 2017. Started off the year at 13,000 January 1, 2018. And we've seen it go up to 17, close to 18,000 in 2018, but then we've seen it hit a trough at just under 6,000. And so we've only seen 1 year since 2010, we've only had 1 year where Bitcoin traded lower for the entire year. That was in 2014. So that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to trade higher this year. Past performance no indicator of future results. But if Bitcoin just returns back to her norm, we would expect her to ultimately take out her all-time highs and go further from there. So look at what happened since the last time we had this discussion. We had this powering through this level of resistance, and then look at where she got stuck. Okay, this right here is the wick, and this represents the height of the day. All right, so the next level of resistance that we had on our charts was right here at about 9,000, and look what happened. She barely peaked above 9,000. All right, she got to 90, almost 90.50 that day. All right, and then she came right back down. And then this right here was today's candle. I'm doing this training on a Sunday. So this was today's candle, and once again, she just kissed the line, and she bounced back down. Now, we just had the start of a new trading day. These candles on my chart here, they reset 5 p.m. New York time, okay? And so it remains to be seen if she will kiss this line and try to power up through, or if she'll kiss this line and maybe come back down to support. We don't know. We don't know, okay? But we do know that she has been honoring these previous levels of congestion of the past, whether they served as a resistance point, a ceiling where she would hit her head up against the ceiling and then come back down, or whether they served as support, a floor, just like the market had a floor down in this range, okay? Now, let's go to CoinMarketCap real quickly so we can get a broad look at what is going on in the market. And then I've got to share with you, we just initiated a new buy signal on Bitcoin just a few days ago. And we did that when Bitcoin was at 83.32. The market's up now to 8,900. So congratulations to those of you who followed our signal. And you're already up almost 600 points as you re-enter the market. And we'll show you real quickly the power of our sell signals and our re-entry signals. Okay, now, when you come to CoinMarketCap.com, and if this is not something you're frequenting, I want you to start getting used to frequenting this site, CoinMarketCap.com. When you get here, up at the top left, it says cryptocurrencies, and it gives the number of Digi assets that are listed on CoinMarketCap. Left click here, and what this is going to do is it's going to open up so that you can see a broader view of the markets over the last 7 days. And this just gives you a better sense as to are the broader markets up, are the broader markets down, is there a mixture or what have you? And you can see here that in the last 7 days, Bitcoin is up 7.23%. However, we're seeing that the alternative coins, the alternate coins, the alt coins are, at least over the last 7 days, really this has been over close to the last 2 weeks, have been outperforming Bitcoin. So, you know, it's no small thing that Bitcoin is up 7% in 7 days, you know, an average of a percent a day. But Ethereum, for instance, is up 3 times that, almost 3 times what Bitcoin is up. And Ethereum has actually been leading the altcoin charge. Look at Ripple, up 31%. Bitcoin Cash, this is a huge 59% over the last 7 days. Let's see if there's a couple more that jump out. Monero jumps out 38% over the last 7 days. Tron 25% over the last 7 days. Let's see. Let's see here. Populous 64%. Now I gazed over Bitcoin private at 90% because this is a newer asset that's trading. But I'm looking at assets that have been trading for a little while, and you can see there is a broad rally in the altcoin space. All right, now let me show one last thing here. Let me go back to my charts, make sure there's... Okay, so here's what we're going to be looking out for this particular week. Can Bitcoin, one, stay above this 8,300 range? Because she broke out above that, all right? Now, we might see her do some give back, all right? Because she's actually, if you look at it, from this trough down in here where she was trading in the less than $7,000 range, you can see here each one of these candles represents one trading day. So we've got the blue is up for the day, the red is down. So if we just go back here and we say, okay, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up days in a row. All right, one down day here, so 6 out of 7. One down day here, 6 out of 8. Then 7 out of 9, 8 out of 10, 11 out of 12, 13 out of 14, 14 out of 15. So you know what? I missed something because I'm off 2 days here. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 7. 6 out of 8. 7 out of 9. 8 out of 10. 10 out of 12. 11 out of 13. And 12 out of 14. So 12 out of the last 14 trading days, Bitcoin's been up. All right. Well, you know, she might be due for a pullback at some point. We don't know when that'll happen. So if she doesn't do some type of pullback this week, it's going to be very important to see if she can stay above the $8,300 range. That's when she broke out of this resistance. Very often, old resistance becomes new support. In terms of going forward, we need to see her get through this $9,000 range. We expected that there would be maybe some congestion there. That might be a couple days worth. That might be several days worth. Okay, if she can break beyond this 9,000, then she's going to have a little potential congestion at the $9,200 range. We have to go back a little bit further to see that 9,200 way back here. Okay, all right. No, I'm sorry, that was 11,000. Wrong spot. All right, right in here, and right in here. All right, is where we were seeing that 9,200, the level of congestion from the past. All right, and remember, the market's left to deja vu. But boy, if she can clear 9,200, we may see her take off all the way up to 10,600. Doesn't mean that'll happen necessarily in this week. But I can tell you that I believe it was on Friday, and we had we had told our audience on Thursday night on our lab of this soda can, this Pepsi deal, and the markets could pop on us. And sure enough, in like an hour's time, we saw the market go up. We sent out a message to our audience via email. The market went up like 427 points in 1 hour, which is a huge, huge move in such a short, condensed period of time. Okay, and so let's finish with this real quickly. Give me a moment here. Now, perhaps you've seen this before, but I want to do an update. You know, what happens when the market goes down? And that's one of the biggest messages that we have here at Digi Millionaires, is teaching our folks how to massively profit even when the markets are crappy. Even when the markets are getting slapped around. So what we do is we call a sell signal when we believe the markets are more likely to go down than they are to go up. Here's an example of a sell signal when Bitcoin was going for 11,300. So the strategy would be to move away from Bitcoin into cash or cash equivalent and to wait out the storm. Not necessarily with all of your Bitcoin, but with some of your Bitcoin assets. The market dropped. Huge drop in just 8 days from the time by the time this signal would have been issued, down 47% in just 8 days. Had you followed what we teach, you would have been sitting on the sidelines. We got a new buy signal a few days later when the market was at 8,800. So had you moved, let's say you had one Bitcoin, and you decided to move that entire Bitcoin out of Bitcoin into cash, not panic selling, but being strategic, all right? You would have had $11,300 in cash. When we had a new buy signal, you could have come back into the market, re-entered, taking the $11,300, buying Bitcoin for $8,800. And now instead of having one Bitcoin, you would have had 1.284 Bitcoin, and that would have increased your Bitcoin holdings by 28.4%. And here's the key, without you putting any new money in your pocket. The last sell signal that we had on Bitcoin goes back to Thursday, February the 22nd. And we've been waiting for a new buy signal ever since that time. So we sold at 10,200. And so if you took advantage of the two sell signals about the pricing that we would have issued those signals, then you would have had about $13,000 sitting on the sidelines with this February the 22nd sell signal. Now, we were in this sell cycle for a while, and the market came all the way down to 6,400 during that time. But if you were following what we teach, you would have been out of harm's way. All right, and actually you would have been praying that the market would go down even further, because the further it goes down, then the cheaper our re-entry price will be once we get a new buy signal. All right, well, we just got a new buy signal just a few days ago as I'm doing this particular training, and we got the new buy signal. We were able to re-enter at roughly 83.32. Now, some of our folks maybe got in a little bit lower. Some of our folks maybe got in a little bit higher, okay? But 83.32 in our model account. And so what that means is take the 13,000 off the sidelines, come back in and purchase at 83.32, and one's Bitcoin holdings now could have increased by a factor of 57%. And whether you had one Bitcoin to do this with, or a half of a Bitcoin, or even a smaller fraction of that, the percentages, assuming that somebody took advantage of our sell signal and our re-entry signal close to where we were able to take advantage of them, you would have increased your Bitcoin holdings by 57%. And that is so key, that while the overall markets have gotten creamed since the beginning of 2018, that had you follow what we teach, you could have increased your Bitcoin holdings by 57%, thereabout, all right, without you adding any new money to your account. And that's just on two sell re-entry signals. Now, the reason this is important is they're saying that Bitcoin could hit $250,000 by 2020. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. All right, but I know that there were some pundits who were saying that Bitcoin would hit 10,000 in 3 years. That was back in 2014. So they were saying by 2017, Bitcoin would hit 10,000. It didn't look like it was going to happen initially, because when I got into Bitcoin back in 2014, I got it for $515 a Bitcoin, and it went down to under $200. It looked like they had missed that one. It looked like I had missed it. And then Bitcoin took off in 2017, getting heights to as high as 20,000, closing well above 10,000 on December 31st, 2017. So if they're right, don't know that they will be, look at this. What if they're right? What if Bitcoin reaches $250,000 a coin? All right, the person that just does the buy and hold, and let's say they have one Bitcoin, well, if it's valued at $250, then they will have $250,000 worth of Bitcoin. Nothing to sneeze at. But if a person had 1.57 Bitcoin, which could have been done without adding new money to one's account, okay, and it reaches $250,000 of Bitcoin, that'd be $392,000. That's a difference of $142,000. So, what I want you to get from this training is what we are teaching at Digi Millionaires, that I'm not aware of anybody, period, no group out there that I'm aware of is teaching what we're teaching, how we're teaching it, with the simplicity with which we teach it. This, you're aligning with Digi Millionaires or no, you're being a part of NetQube or no, could be the difference between you having financial success and not. So, I'm not sure when you're seeing this. Maybe NetQube has launched to the public by the time you're seeing this. or maybe they're still in the private placement. There's probably something, if you're seeing this on social media, where you can connect with whomever is showing this on their channel. Make sure you make that connection and follow what we're doing and become a Digi Millionaire as well as a part with us here at NetQube. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours, and let's get you to Digi, my gosh, millionaire status.